Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my recap for January to show all of the pieces that I was able to create during the month. Now I don't have as many this time around as I have in the last few months. I am going to be sharing some projects that I made with the January Bargain Bead Box, which the theme was Roses Are Pink. And I have a few pieces that I created. I still have several things left to work with. I have a bracelet and a couple of necklaces to share. And then I'll go ahead and do a quick run through of the items that I had already shared in my January jewelry making fun video. And then I also have a few other pieces that I just created without any, just from my stash items. So real quick, I happened to look up on my wall where I hang different like charms and things that I've made, and I made these over a year ago. I just wanted to share them real fast since they're kind of Valentine's-y looking. This I just created. Here's a bottle cap that I had found. I don't know where I had it. Like I said, it's been at least a year, maybe longer, since I made this. But it's real pretty with the white and the black rose design on there. And I just filled it in. If you can see the background, I added some like animal print paper, pattern paper. I put that in there first. And I always use this in my bottle cap jewelry. I get this at Hobby Lobby. It's by Ranger, and it's the Glossy Accents. Of course, Close to My Heart sells their own product like that, and then you can get other different brands of that. But it's basically like a resin that dries. Let me see, it should show it here. Clear, dimensional, medium. And it's just liquid, and when it dries, it hardens and it's clear, and you can see anything you have underneath it. You can add different levels to your projects using that stuff, so it's pretty cool. And while it was wet, I like to add a lot of chunky things to it because I have a hard time getting the bubbles out of things if I have just like an image and I'm just going with the image alone as like a jewelry focal piece. I always end up with a bubble or two, and I don't know how I do that. It'll look perfectly clear, and then overnight somehow I'll wake up the next day and there's bubbles. So I like to add things just to add some dimension and just some texture and just some, just to be different. So I added a word bead. I get those at Michael's. And then this is just a little little like gemstone heart. And I love those little glasses. I don't know where I got them from. I added little gemstones on the corners of the glasses, and then there was just a little flower charm, like it's a little black flower resin piece, and I put a little red bling in the center of that one. And then I had these really cool hand connectors, and I did get those several years ago from Joann's. I think I purchased like 3 or 4 strands of them because I absolutely love them. I think they're so cool. They're very vintagey, very steampunkish looking to me. And then I just added this sort of antique silver, or at least it's turned to where it looks antique. Little lobster clasp, and at the bottom I put a little dangle. These are some of those glass beads you can get at Walmart. I love those strands of beads. They usually come in like 3 or 4 strands. You get a ton of them for like $3 or $4, and they have the bead caps with them, so they're really nice. I use them and it's really a heavy glass bead, so it's really nice quality, at least in my opinion. And I just made a little dangle. So that is a fun little charm. And then this one, I had this gigantic red bead. I have no clue where I got that from. It's monstrous. And I think it came with these on the strand, these really large silver spacer beads. And this is just an antique looking heart, like a spacer type charm. And it was purchased at Joann's years ago. And I just made this little loop at the top, made a little connector with the heart, and then attached it to my horrible this, like I said, was made a few years ago, and you can see how bad it looks. There's my attempt at making like a little swirly design at the bottom. It was probably one of the first few times I ever worked with the wire that I get at, I believe I get this at Hobby Lobby, just the really like 18 gauge silver wire. I've gotten a little bit better at making loops, but this was probably one of the first times. And then I just added a couple of red beads at the bottom, little dangles. And I think it turned out really, really cute. Like, it's a nice, giant, chunky charm that you could hang from a purse or keychain or something. And it's very sturdy, so you shouldn't have to worry about it, getting damaged or anything. So I just wanted to show those real fast, since I just happened to look up and they were hanging on my little wall hanger where I keep finished charms and dangles. And I just happened to see my chain reaction that I could not find the other day. I had no clue where I put it. It's hanging up here too. So that's good to know. Okay, so I guess I'll show my the couple pieces that I had finished with the Bargain Bead Box. I'll show that first. I made a bracelet. Well, first of all, let me show the items off of the Bargain Bead Box that I used. I used some of the jump rings that came in the kit. All of the metal findings this time around were rose gold. So I used some of the rose gold jump rings. I used some of the crystal bicone beads in the color Vintage Peach. They were 6mm. I used some of the 6mm rose quartz round gemstone beads. I used some, or most of it. I'll have just a tiny little portion left of the Rolo chain that they included. There were 3 sets of hook and eye clasps, and I did actually use all of those. I used up a few of the little small floral medallion links that are in here. They're absolutely gorgeous. I love them. I'll probably have to see if I can't buy some more of those. Those are so pretty. Still have quite a few left. I did use some on the first project I'm going to show. I used some, I only used one of the little 1.5mm ball head pins. I used some of the little 4mm swirled rondelle spacers. I love those. Those are like my favorite spacers that they've ever put in their kits. I would love to get some more of those. I don't think I saw them on the website when I looked a few days ago. I used some of the 10mm dyed quartz gemstone beads in frosted coral. And I used up the, there was one 8mm, or no, there was, I'm sorry. This was a strand of 8mm rose quartz round gemstone beads. I used that whole package. And I used, they had 10 pieces of 9mm bead caps. I did use all but about 4, I think. I used up the whole package of, there were 2 of these little hand-carved rose quartz gemstone flower beads, and there was one 35 to 37, kind of in that area, millimeter hand-carved rose quartz gemstone pendant, which those are absolutely gorgeous. It's probably my favorite pieces that they've ever included in the monthly kit. I love those 2. I'd love to get more of those. I think they're amazing and gorgeous. So, my first project is this bracelet that I made. I used some of those little connector like medallions here in the center, and some of those gorgeous pink, they look frosted, glass beads, and then here's some of these little rondelles, and there's some of the bead caps on the end of these 2 beads that kind of, separates that one section. Now, here is what the toggle clasp looks like that's in this month, or that was in the January box. To me, in person, it looks more of a coppery color, because I had to purchase some copper crimp beads at Hobby Lobby. They did not carry anything in rose gold that was like that type of finding. But this almost matches those copper crimp beads, so it's more of a copper color to me in person, and it doesn't exactly match up with the other rose gold findings in the box, but I think it still looks pretty. However, because this is like an inch in length, I ended up getting my bracelet like way too long. My bracelet's about 8 inches in length, so it basically slips over my wrist without even opening it. I could see if my mom would like this, because she wears a larger bracelet. She has a larger wrist size, But I may end up taking out like these two end beads and just having this as the middle section, and that would take out a little bit of the length, or I may switch out the clasp to maybe just a little lobster clasp. I ordered some lobster clasps that are rose gold on eBay. Once those, I think I actually received those the other day, so I might try switching that out maybe. If I probably won't have to take the bracelet apart, because this little ring here for the clasp is actually, I've got my wire wrapped over top of that. It's fastened to the ring. So, and this is fastened to this. So I'll probably, well, no matter what I do, I'll have to take it apart. So, but I'm going to see if my mom likes it first. Since it's a larger bracelet, she might like it. If not, maybe I could sell it to someone who has a larger wrist. Okay, so there is my first piece from the Bargain Bead Box. The next piece that I made is with those hand-carved rose. To me, these almost look like, you know how they get those like decorated soaps that are carved and they're like real fancy, and that's, to me, this looks almost like a piece of soap that's been carved, but they are gorgeous. And it's rose quartz gemstone. Let me show the centerpiece here real fast. These are the two smaller ones they included, and then there is the giant focal pendant, which is amazing to me. I love the detail. If I can get it to focus good. All of the like deep ridges that are in there, just the texture, the way it's hand carved, it's gorgeous. I used some of the bead caps on each side of those smaller flower pieces, and then I just alternated like some of the larger and the smaller pink glass beads here, just up and down. There's those swirly rondelle, like little spacers that are in there. And if I can get that to show up good, I love the texture on those. They're a little bit chunkier than some of the spacers they include. I love the texture. I love the chunkiness. It just adds a nice little touch to your piece. And so I basically just did a long strand. Get it to focus there. So that's the main like necklace part, and then I finished the end with chain, and there is the clasp, and I just made one little dangle, and that's where I used the ball head pin. See, it has like the little, okay, come on camera, okay, it doesn't want to focus, but there is a little ball tip on the end there. This altogether comes out about 16 inches in length, which I love. It hits on me perfectly where I like my necklaces to hang. This I absolutely love. I would have a hard time getting rid of that one if I were to ever try to sell it. That's another piece that I'd be like, ooh, it's pretty, I want to keep it. Okay, and then this is where I used a good chunk of the chain that they put in the kit. It's that gorgeous Rolo chain. I love this chain. Let me go ahead and show. I used my third. In this one, I have a little bit. Okay, my jump ring just came off. I have to tighten that up better. But I used this clasp and a long length of the chain here. And then on the end, I made this focal piece. These are some glass heart beads that I purchased. I found them at Joann's, and they are by Hildy and Joe. And let's get this to show up, maybe. Natural rose quartz stone. So it went perfectly with the beads in this January box. And it had these little smaller beads with it, little rondelles. And so when I saw these hearts there at Joann's, I knew I wanted to make some kind of long, flowy centerpiece for a necklace, and I found these in that same day at Joann's in their Valentine's like crafting stuff, 8 tassels, and they had all their Valentines on sale, so even $4.99 I didn't think was a bad price for 8 tassels, so they were like 40 or 50% off. And then also had a coupon for that one particular day I was there, 20% off my whole purchase, so these turned out to be not really that bad at all. And there's the different shades, so it's kind of like the ombre. Goes from the lighter pink up to the darker, and I used both of the lightest pink tassels in my projects. But here is this. I love how this turned out. I just used some of the smaller beads that were with the hearts, And then I basically just made, with some gold wire, just made this little section here and hung the tassel from the bottom. And it makes this really nice, long, kind of like a tassel necklace. So I really love how that came out. And this chain on here is gorgeous. I love the rose gold roller chain. So I think this piece turned out super nice. And then another thing, the other project I made with the tassel. Now everything else that I'm showing here is just things that I made from my own stash. I made this fun little dangle. These hearts here were also from Joann's, and they had the little ceramic hearts. There were some of these like little rhinestone spacers that were with them that are pink colored, and there's all these sort of frosted white beads that were with them. And those little pink ceramic beads were on one strand by themselves. So I just kind of mixed and matched a couple different packages of beads for some projects. I haven't decided what I'm going to hang this from yet. I don't know if I'm going to make like a chunky charm, or I thought about just getting some really fine, like delicate chain, and then just put this on a jump ring and running, just hanging it on some chain. I thought that'd make a really pretty necklace as well. So that is where I used the other tassel. I love how this turned out. I think it's super cute. I made, with those same beads, this little fun elastic bracelet. Now, I'm not exactly thrilled with how it wants to stay up like that, almost like it looks sort of stiff, but when it's on your wrist, it lays down really nicely. I just used one of the hearts with one of those rondelle, like little gemstone spacers there, and a bunch of the little white beads that came with the hearts. There's all these little pink ceramic beads that were on their own strand, and just a real fun little Valentine's-y heart bracelet. So there's that piece. These two bracelets here were made with a strand of beads that came together. Like this was all on one strand, and these beads were on a second strand. And anytime I see like packages you can buy where they have multiple strands together, for some reason I instantly think stack bracelets. These had these really cute little silver heart spacers, and then these glass teardrop beads. It had the daisy spacers and the clear like crystal beads. I just made this little, like I said, I just strung it on the order it was on the package. Made a fun little elastic bracelet. And in this one, I was in the middle of stretching my bracelet, trying to get the knot to get as tight as I could get it, because it kept wanting to loosen up on me. And I was trying to tuck it under one of the beads, and it ended up, I pulled too hard, and it ended up snapping, and beads went flying everywhere, and I was down on my hands and knees picking beads out of my carpet. And I don't even think I got them all, because this strand, when I got it back strung together, it was actually about a half an inch shorter than this bracelet. And on the packaging, they were both the same length. So I know I have lost some beads somewhere. So I found in my stash this little bail, and I just used it, and the knot is under there, so it is nice and hidden. And I didn't have to worry about trying to stretch and pull and tug, trying to get the knot to go in a bead, when these are clearly, the holes are too small for the knot to go in, because I like to tie my knots like 2 or 3 times, get them nice and secure. And then I also, in my stash, I had 2 of these sort of iridescent, almost looks like a prism, little heart charm. Love the way the light hits it and just kind of reflects there. And so I just hung that there on the bail. Made this cute little bracelet set. So there is that matching set. And that was made from 2 strands of beads from Joann's. And the only thing I added extra from my stash was the elastic and then this bail and charm. So I basically could have made 2 bracelets with just the strands only if I hadn't lost several of those beads. Now here is a necklace that I found these beads at Joann's, and I love how they have those chunky like strands of beads that remind me a lot of the Jessie James, which they used to carry, and now Their chunkier beads are by the brand Hildy and Joe. But this was with all of their like new Valentine's colored bead strands. I love the beads. I wanted to keep it just the way it was on the strand because I thought it was perfect and amazing and gorgeous the way it was on the package. So all I did was took my flexible beading wire and just attached it directly to the end of some of this larger chain that I get from Hobby Lobby. And then at the end, it has this jumbo heart clasp, which is also from Hobby Lobby. And this necklace is about 15 inches in length, which I love. It sits just below my neck, my neckline, collarbone. Love the length of it. I like the necklaces that are real chunky to sit sort of short on my neck. And this is absolutely gorgeous. I really, really love this necklace. The beads are just amazing with all that color and texture. And this is like a filigree piece. And surprisingly, I didn't have any trouble getting the beading wire to go through. A lot of times these open hole beads, the wire wants to pop out in all kinds of weird places. Luckily, it just went right through there, no problem. And then here's the center bead there with these really jumbo, massive, like little spacers. I love everything about this necklace. The collar. I'm not too huge into being like a pink person, but because of all the sparkle and shine and texture, I really think that this pink necklace is amazing. So there are those beads that I used from Joann's. Oh, and then I got to share this one real funny necklace. This has nothing to do with Valentine's or anything. My daughter has a bunny, and we switched bottles, water bottles for him because the one he had was dripping and would always make his bedding wet. So this was inside that one bottle. It was like the little carrot floater thing that lets you see the level of the water. And instead of tossing it out when we changed bottles, or I asked her if she wanted this in the new bottle, and she said, I want a necklace. I want you to make it into a charm. So I just took my little hole punch that I use on my bottle caps and made a hole right there in the center of the green top, put a jump ring on it, and then I've got this leather cord, and I made her a little necklace. And she said she was actually going to wear it, that she would love to have this around her neck. It would, you know, keep her bunny close to her heart at all times. I thought that was funny. So yeah, you can make jewelry out of anything. This is out of a water bottle floater carrot. So there you go. She's crazy. All right. And that is everything from that section. And then here real quick, I was just going to kind of go back through my items that I shared already in the monthly my monthly jewelry collab on last month on the 18th. But we had a color theme of pinks, purples, reds, any combination. And here was a fun little bracelet that I made. And in the video, I showed I hadn't put these in the eyes yet, I think. Or maybe it was the other thing. Okay, either this one or the other skull I hadn't put in the little eyes yet. So here's another bracelet. These are the two bracelets I made with these jumbo skulls. I found them at Joann's. Too many places to try to remember. But I love these skulls because they were like pastel colors. There was like a light, like a turquoise and a yellow and a white, and it had this pink and purple. And so those were perfect for these fun, like Valentine's-y colored bracelets. Love these bracelets. Think they turned out adorable. And then here is just one that my daughter actually made, but because the colors matched, I went ahead and shared them in my video on the 18th. And these are some fun, like mesh beads. They also had hot pink with them. I just went with the purple. Well, I mean, she did. I'm sorry. She used all purple on this bracelet. And she gave me her extra mesh beads. I think I used them in some other projects at another time. I don't even remember what I used them for. But they're really fun. Just like a netting, like a mesh, wire mesh type bead. And then these beads here are purple with like gray. It almost looks like they're crackled. They're really cool. And I don't remember where she purchased these beads at. But there's this little section here in the middle, just kind of where you would, just gave it a little bit of extra length to be able to get it on the wrist, okay? So there's her bracelet that she made. Now this here, I love making little dangles. And I shared this in my other video. But this is just a fun Valentine's-y little tiny, like a mini chunky dangle. I added this little angel to the bottom, and then these are some hearts that I got in a pack from eBay. They had all different colors of hearts. There were like these clear, and they had the pink, and there's other like red, yellow, blue, green, all kinds of colors of those resin hearts. And then these I just took beads and made little fun little bead sections with little charms, these little heart charms hanging on the end of them. And so that is my little Valentine's-y dangle charm. And of course, me being a purple person, I had to make this really amazing, long, flowy purple necklace. And this is a strand of beads from, I think I purchased this actually at Walmart, because they do carry the Jesse James beads at Walmart. And I left it the way it was on the strand, and then I used some of the chain reaction that I just recently got from Jesse James' website. And I had found that I bought several of their multi-packs of the chain, and they had some that was purple with silver. And so it matched perfectly with this bead strand. And then the little tiny dab of chain that I could not use, I cut off enough to make the chain even on both sides. This was what was left, and I attached them together because one piece was cut off one end of the chain and this other little bead section was cut off the other piece of chain. I just linked them together, and then I added this Made with Love heart charm on the end so that it made this long little dangle on the back of the necklace. And I used one of these fancy little toggles that I had in my stash, and I have no clue where I got these from. I think I might have a few left. I'm not sure. I love these, and it's very perfect to use with Valentine's themed projects. And it has this, there's the actual toggle itself, and then this little heart charm just hangs down, and so that's where I added that extra dangle. And so you have this long, it's a little bit longer than I like my necklaces, but I wanted to use that whole piece, the whole packaging of the chain reaction, and I thought it turned out really nice. I love the way that looks. So there's that purple necklace. And then get to my red pieces. Here is a long and flowing little heart necklace that I made with a couple of little chain dangles hanging down with some of those heart spacers, and I just made a little dangle out of some of the beads that came with some of these other beads. And these are all from probably Hobby Lobby, Joann's, I'm not sure. Just had them in my stash. And this is a really pretty glass heart with the like red flecks in the middle. Just really, really pretty. Super, I don't even know where, I don't remember if I just purchased it recently or if I've had it for a while. I don't remember. My brain is mush right now. This last week at work has like made me into almost a zombie. Two other girls that I work with, there's 3 of us in the office. The 2 of them have been out sick all week with the COVID, and so I was pretty much doing 3 jobs in one for the entire week. I've been exhausted, so I don't really even know what I'm saying. This is my second time to film this video, because the first time I was all over the place being interrupted by cats and daughter, and I was just getting my words twisted, and it was like, let's just film this over a few days later, and I'm still exhausted, and I didn't even work today. So I don't remember where I got any of this stuff from, but here's just some cute little heart earrings I made to go with the necklace. And I added these fun little dangles to the bottom there. Those are actually some jumbo seed beads. They're like a 2-0. I found them in my stash back in, I think, November or December. And I pulled them out for the jewelry collab for that month. And so I still had them laying on my table. And I thought, well, those would make the cutest little dangles. And they did. I love how they turned out. All I did was use a tiny little silver spacer ball with a daisy spacer, and then one of those jumbo seed beads, which I have no clue where I got them from. I didn't recognize the price tag, so it might have been at some kind of jewelry shop on vacation sometime or other, which I believe I've had those for years, and I just never used them. So here are some fun little earrings that I made with these chunky, like a square, almost looks like marble. I love the coloring in those beads with the white and the different shades of red. And I went with the gold findings on this. And then some of those little oval red. They're not really like bright red, so I really like these. It's almost like a coral color. And I think these might have come together on the same strand. I'm not sure. They might have had some, I think they had those gold, like flat disc spacers with them, so that's probably why I went with gold findings. I'm not normally a gold person, but it must have had gold findings with the strand of beads, so that's probably why I went with that. Don't remember. I probably said whatever it was in the actual first video I did back on the 18th of January. And then I've got these really fun little tiny earrings. I love these. They're so cute. Just had these little tiny pink, sort of glittery, have some sparkle to them. Almost like they're covered in like a little mist of gold. They're just very sparkly, shimmery, shiny. And then I used some gold bead caps out of my stash. I thought those little two balls would just make the cutest earrings, and I think they are adorable. So there's those two. And then the last jewelry I have is what I shared obviously on the 18th. Let me try to get it out of the knot before I break it. But it was made with my guitar picks that I dug out of my stash that I had not made anything with for the longest time. And I was just playing around with wire one day, and I made that fun little swirly heart. And so it fits perfectly on the center of the bottle cap there. And I just made that little section of beads. And this is on some Coriana chain. It's not fastened down with a crimp or anything, so these beads do move up and down. And then at the end, I made this long, I did add a extender chain, and then just put this little dangle at the end with a made with love charm. Since it's a heart, and I thought it'd be perfect for Valentine's. And then I have the earrings to match that necklace. There's one of them with these little tiny, like I said, I was just playing one day at my table here, and I was just trying to see if I could, okay, come on, turn around, make these little heart wires, and those actually turned out to be pretty even. I was impressed. And I wasn't even measuring the wire. I just cut off a section and start rolling with my pliers, and they actually looked to be pretty even. So those are the two little earrings that match to go with that necklace. And so that is everything that I made for the month of January. So it's not as much as what I made the month before. And of course, December, it's either November or December, I made like 70 some pieces. I didn't have the energy this month with everything going on at work and stuff. But I feel like I still made a nice, decent amount of jewelry. And I want to thank everyone for sitting through this video. Sorry if I was all over the place, losing my train of thought. My brain is a little bit fried after this past week. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Hope you all have had a great day, a great Saturday. This is when I'm filming this. I'm hoping I will have it up this evening. I'm going to start uploading it as soon as I shut up. So thank you, everyone, for watching. And thank you, everyone who has subscribed to my channel. If you're watching and you're not a subby, please take time to hit that little subscriber button. And I love reading everyone's comments. And I may take a little bit of time, but I eventually, at least I like to think that I get back to everybody. If I miss someone's comment in the past, I apologize. I try to catch up once a week, try to go through comments. And if I was perfect, of course, I would answer the second that I saw the comment pop up. But I usually try to get everyone's comments, responded to within as quick amount of time as I can. But I appreciate everyone stopping by, liking this video, subscribing and commenting and everything. And I love having all of you watch my videos. Thank you so much. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you all the next time. Take care.